Okay, I'll try to talk about it. Okay, I'll try to talk about it. It started a long time ago when there was only one family in the village. The village was very small, as you might expect a village to be, of course, but there was something strange about it, and that was that everybody followed the traditions, except one man in the village. And obviously, because he did not follow tradition of the village, they often look at this man and they laugh because he is not like everybody else. He thought to himself, he never said this to anyone, but he thought the traditions were stupid. There was, for example, tradition to marry the animals on the farm, to marry them together. And he already thought that the marriage between the human was a stupid idea, a stupid tradition, unnecessary and ridiculous. And so he thought even more so with the animals. But it was not all animals they did this with. There was a special selection of animals which would be qualified for this ceremony, and they were, of course, the cockerel and the hen. There were the goats of female and male. There were no homosexual marriages between neither human beings nor the animals. And so he thought this was stupid, and he kept some animals because on the village everybody's life, how should I explain? Everybody's livelihood, it comes from the agriculture of the village, and so it was that you do this to live, to survive, and most people were happy with this. But again, this same man, Petrovic, his name was, but he did not please himself with this livelihood. And so he dropped agriculture. He says he wants to be artist, and the villagers say, but your painting, it cannot feed you, and where are you going to get the paints from? And he said, well, I work for the art, but he said, I work for the art materials, but I live for the art and not for the work. The work I do elsewhere to get in order these art materials. And they ask, okay, but what about tradition? So anytime they have a discussion with Petrovic, they always end up asking, what about tradition at the end? And he will say, I think tradition is stupid. And after he say tradition is stupid in this village, which cherish the tradition and customs very much, it is clear that he was disliked by a lot of people, and by all the villagers. He was the only one who did not follow custom of animals to marry. This was called Dobnik Kava, and it was quite normal at the time to do this because people believed in equality between all living organisms as they do not today. And it was actually Petrovic which first brought this idea of humans presiding over nature as opposed to there being no leader in the species. But before it was believed that humans are like an insect or like a snail or anything also living. Of course, at that time they did not know of microorganisms, any organisms that were impossible to see with the naked eye, and so that was that. They ask me often about this, about how it was to live in such a place and to be suddenly awakened. Okay, so this was more extreme a long time ago, but the population was still a largely unmixed. How to say? It was unaffected and not influenced by the rest of the world. It was not included in globalization because this country, which is such a small part of an island, it kind of disappeared. Well, it disappeared from map. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew where it could be found on the map, and so it was very difficult to say who was. So it's very difficult to compare that culture to any other because it has such a different history. So it's in the debate about which country has most moral points according to the UN morality guidelines. It is very difficult to compare and not very fair to compare because it was not included in the globalization process of the last century, and therefore I often say leave my country out because of this special case, and it is a very special case. In fact, not many people have to deal with that kind of difference, with that difference in history, in evolution of culture and things like that. So you ask me how I came to this problem, how I came to this world, and how I came to think about these things. Well, it is very easy to tell you. Well, it is not part of tradition, of course, but it is not uncommon that people will come to steal and preoccupy themselves with the kidnapture of people, especially young girls, from this country and take them out. And the kidnappers, they never come back, so that is why there has never been influence in the society, even with this immigration of kidnappers and the kidnappees. And so it was mainly like this. And I was one of these girls who were unfortunate or fortunate enough to leave the place in this way. And you can ask why they were kidnappers of this nature, because it is not very easy to say since nothing bad happened to any of us. So it is difficult to say whether the society of kidnappers, if they want to liberate or to enslave these girls, mainly girls, but boys too of younger age. But it is not easy to say no. Not easy to say what they were thinking.